Oh, man, you know, I need to go to bed. I just want to preface this video by saying that it's very late here. But my hands are shaking, like honestly shaking. And you'll notice on my screen here, I have some new stuff that I didn't have before on my screen because I beat Sekiro. I beat Sekiro tonight. This game has plagued me for so long. It got in my head. It made me just go insane. I quit playing it. I blamed it on the Xbox controller. I blamed it on 30 frames a second. I blamed it on the fact that the final boss is bullshit, which it is, by the way. All these things and more. And I just couldn't figure out a way to beat this game. And I know with my time, really with Dark Souls and with Elden Ring, I just decided, you know, I got to give it one more chance. And I waited for it to go on sale on the PlayStation Store. And I know it's a 60 frame per second, quote unquote, definitive edition now. And I said, you know, the Game of the Year edition. I said, okay, this is it. And over the past 40 hours, I have fought my way through every boss and every challenge to make my way back to the final boss again with what I call the good ending, you know, with like the special ending where you had to do all the extra optional stuff, right? And I got to the final boss, and this is after, like, honestly, and I'm just screwing around. I'm done. I don't think I can play this game after tonight. I need to retire. But you got to keep in mind that, you know, this game's been haunting me, right? So here we are. Imagine me playing through the content, just grinding. You know, I talked about Corey and I playing together when we were on travel at Benning a couple weeks ago, and realizing that, like, maybe I'm not as bad as I thought. Like, the perfect parries are kind of there. I'm sort of figuring out the posturing a little bit, and I'm not cheesing bosses. I'm fighting them kind of the way they were meant to be fought, and I'm doing good. So I'm thinking to myself throughout this whole experience, okay, I'm going to get to the final boss. And yeah, it's going to take a few times, right? I mean, kind of like, you know, like Master Owl and Lady, I don't remember her name now. Lady Owl, whatever the old lady's name was. It was going to take a couple tries. That's all I was getting at. Like, I knew it wasn't going to be a one-shot thing. So imagine my ultimate dismay when I finally make it to the final boss and he absolutely destroys me. Absolutely destroys me. I mean, like, I didn't get a hit in. And I'm like, okay, now what, right? And I'm like, what do I do? And I'm like, man, I'm not really sure where to go from here. Maybe I need to, you know, buff up a little bit more or look at some guides or whatever. And I'm watching all these kind of cheese guides and these strategy guides on, okay, bait the boss to look for this particular move. And, you know, when he does 2 attacks, do this. The problem is, as you've probably realized with a lot of these games, they get patched. So a lot of the exploits don't work anymore. And the attack patterns that people had are gone. I'm watching speedruns of people playing version 1.0 where you can bait the boss to do certain things to engage in certain attacks. My boss isn't doing that because they patched it. And I'm just like, uh-oh. And the terror sets in. The fear. I made a mistake. But you know what? Okay, well, I spent about 2 hours on the boss that night. Just getting destroyed by, you know, maybe making it to, like, the second phase of Ishin. Maybe, if I'm lucky. But usually just getting absolutely destroyed by even Genichiro. And I'm like, oh, crap, right? I'm in big trouble now. So I go to bed, you know, cooler heads prevail, right? Come up, wake up the next day. Okay, I'm going to try again. Try again. Play for about an hour. Nothing. Getting a little panicky. Went out today, came back, played for 2 hours. Nothing. And I told my wife, I said, listen, I really want to get into Ghost of Yotai. Really bad. I got a cool video coming up later in the week about that. And I'm like, man, I want to get into Ghost of Yotai. But I'm not going to stop playing Sekiro until I beat it. Like, that is going to be my game. I'm just going to stop everything else, and I am just going to grind out Sekiro, and I am going to beat this game, and that's it. And I beat my head on the wall. I can't tell you the number of times I died. I can't tell you. I mean, easily north of 200, easily. Burning through a lot of my my items, my buffs to try to give me more attack damage. Having to go back and farm for certain skills that I thought might help a little bit because some random guide said, hey, you know, the boss is weak to this kind of like jumping attack skills. So going back and grinding for a while to get these skills in place. And just, you know, really trying and just nothing coming together. And finally, it happens. Tonight, I beat the boss. And there was definitely not as much of like toe-to-toe as kind of I wanted there to be, but there was enough. I definitely blocked. I did some posture damage. I didn't beat him just solely off of, you know, kind of chipping him down. And I mean, I lost my mind. Like, I don't know if PlayStation records the audio on trophies still. If I can find it, I will upload it for you guys. It's just me. My wife's already gone to bed like 4 hours ago, like a normal person. I'm up here in my room playing, and I'm just losing my mind. Just absolutely losing my mind. This boss is just... I'm looking at it like I'm watching his health go down. I'm watching his posture go down. And I'm like, oh my god, this is it. And finally, I get the red dot after the freaking 4th form of this dude. And that's it. He's dead. It's over. And I can retire. And I really need to go to bed, but I can't. My hands are shaking so bad. And I'm just so amped. And I can't recall, honestly, in a time... I would say the first Dark Souls. I would say probably Dark Souls 1 is probably the most delighted I ever felt about beating a boss, because Dark Souls was really my first foray into those kind of games, right? And I gotta admit, you know, I didn't know what I was in for. I said, people like, I didn't play Demon Souls, I didn't play any of those other games, so you know, for me, hearing that like there was a mechanic where like, you know, you had to manage stamina, and I was like, what does that mean? And you know, finally making it to the final boss and just getting one-shotted, and then spending like 2 or 3 weeks grinding to get better skills so that I had a chance, and like trying to redo my build, and like what a experience that was, you know, for me. And I would say that was probably like my first like ever real like moment in gaming where I just had this massive accomplishment of like, I did it. I can't believe I beat this guy. Sekiro hits different because I tried and failed. Like with Dark Souls, I would say from like me hitting my head against the final boss to beating it was like maybe 2 or 3 days. This was 6 years. This was 6 years of me like intentionally avoiding this game, not, you know, not watching speedruns of it, like, you know, just not embracing it because I was kind of like ashamed in a weird way. I mean, it's a hard game, you know, like I'm not going to take away from that, but you know, you watch these guides of these guys playing it in like 20 seconds, and you see stuff on Reddit of like, you know, oh, you just need to get good. And it just, it kind of demoralizes you in a sense, you know? And to be able to just go through that whole experience and like do it on my own and take a little bit of everybody's guide and try to put together like a build that worked for me and a strategy that was like pretty much like, I wouldn't say foolproof, but like by the end, like I could get to the second phase of the boss without taking any damage, which was awesome. Like that's exactly what I wanted, you know? And I had to save all my, you know, save all my points basically for, you know, the mulligans that I had to have as I'm trying to avoid the lightning and do posture damage. And yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I got to the final wave. I had no health potions. Like that boss absolutely played me out. Like that was the end of everything for me. And man, oh man, was that intense. But man, oh, I'm so excited. So I suspect a lot of you guys, just like my first Sekiro Redemption video, will get no views. And I gotta admit, I'm doing this video for me. Because I want to look back on this in a couple of years and just be like, I can't believe I did that. Because like this is going to go down as one of those moments like I am so proud of myself. And it's like, oh, how dumb, dude. Touch grass. Like, look at you. You beat a game. Good for you. Like, I just can't put into words how much this game messed with my head. I just can't put into words how much this game like just changed me in such a like negative way. And to get redemption is like, you know, looking back on my life, like, man, like this is one of those like existential crisis moments. Honestly, like be me 2019, 300 pounds, Hashimoto's disease, bad, you know, high blood pressure, thyroid damage, just an insanely unhealthy person versus now, you know, 185 getting, I'm not going to say I'm like cut. I'm definitely not. I got a ways to go, but going to the gym, being active, in a good headspace, and then like beating this, it's like, oh my God, you know, like I did it. It's just, it's such an incredible feeling. So I guess to anybody who makes it to the end of this and for future me, honestly, like I'm here to tell you guys, like, don't let negativity take over your life. Don't let, and that's what kind of my mantra has been on this channel. Like, don't fall into the hate. Don't fall into the despair. Like, I beat this, and I'm probably a worse gamer now than I was then because I'm older, and I don't, my hands are slower, my coordination's slower. But man, oh man, what a rush! What a great feeling. That guy just got wrecked. I didn't realize they could hurt each other. That's kind of funny. But yeah, wow. Anyways, I'm gonna just sit here and just revel for a few minutes in silence. I'm gonna upload this whole video in its entirety, like I said, and I'm just gonna be just a happy dude. I can't believe it. This guy should die to a shield. There we go. Zero desire to do New Game Plus, for those of you who are asking. Zero desire. No, I am not going back. I am going to start Ghost of Yotai very, very soon. And it's not to say I'm done with Soulsborne games. I'm going to be getting back into Night Rain here very, very soon. But I just had to see this one through. I really had to beat this game before I did anything else. And I'm so glad that I did. You know, I put it through its paces and got to the end. But if you haven't played this game, I know after me just telling you how it like damaged my life, it's actually really freaking good. The combat is very punishing, but rewarding. And I can even say in all the times I died with the boss, and oh my God, did I die a lot. I felt like I kept learning lessons. You know what I mean? Like there were things that I was doing that were helping me out, and I was like, oh, that was dumb. Like, I knew better. I know better. I know better. And I think that I never felt like the game was cheating. It felt unfair for sure. It definitely felt unfair at times, especially the last boss. 4 forms of a boss where basically he has the ability to one-shot you. You know, at pretty much any form. Man, all that posture damage for nothing. It has the ability to basically like end you at any specific moment. Like, that's a big deal. That's really, really hard. I'm gonna die here. Watch this. That's really hard to beat, and it is unfair. And you know, there's no way to like. The game teaches you about this mechanic where like, hey, you can be stealthy, right? Like you can, if a boss is too hard, don't worry about it. You could sneak up behind them. You could do, you know, back whack and basically take away one of their like little like health pellets, and then you only have to fight them once. You know, that's kind of cool, right? It's a cool mechanic. It rewards you for exploring in the map. It teaches you to like use the terrain to your advantage and to be like a ninja, right? Then you get to the final boss, and he's just standing there waiting for you. He's not like, there's no stealth. There's no like, let me go sneak around the bushes. it was just basically like fight this guy to the death. And it's hard because it kind of like all the reinforcement you had going into this game is thrown on your head, and it's like, well, you're just gonna have to rely on your skill now. Like there's no cheats anymore. There's no hacks. This is just you being a guy and like posture damage, just like I'm doing now. Just wailing on a guy, blocking his attack, you hitting his attack, you know, rolling out of the way for certain things, Mikiri countering when it makes sense. Like that's the end of this game. And man, does it just feel so different than anything else that I've done up to this point where, you know, you do have that advantage. You do have that ability to kind of be stealthy. And I loved it because it really just, you can't say, you could beat any boss any way you want, but you can't beat this game until you have mastered the style of combat that this game is making you play. You have to learn to parry. You have to learn to dodge. You cannot cheese. You have to fight an enemy toe-to-toe. And what a cool thing. So yeah, I think that's probably the last boss or last guy I'm ever going to beat for this game because I'm kind of done. But I just wanted to say, you know, I'm very proud of myself. And be your own advocate, and you'll be very impressed by the things you can do.